Yo, and we got another donation. Just want to read it out real quick. Bad Rito with a $30 donation towards the Resident Evil character select. Said great event and great cause. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Jill is now leading $36.66 to $10. So that's coming up in just a couple games. You want to see Crispy played. Got a little bit of time to surpass that. Yes, thank you so much, Bad Rito. We really appreciate that. Looks like we are just about ready, I believe, for our next game. So we'll get it sent over to them. Any donations that come through, I'll read those in the next intermission. And thank you so much, y'all. And yeah, let's get it sent over to our next runner, TempestMask.
Ah, what a wonderful day within the fields of La Damra. The sun is shining, the grass is green, and it seems I'm playing as Bonnie. Oh dear. Excuse me for a second, folks. It seems we'll be right back. Do. Hello, friends and fellow gamers. My name is TempestMask1000, and that was a bit that I actually wanted to do with last night's run. But, yeah, no. I figured I'd at least implement it for today, but yeah, hi, I'm back, everybody. Good to be here once again for RGLTV's Feed the Children, and today we're going to be presenting a little more something indie this time in Curse Crackers For Whom the Bell Toils. I quite like this game a heckin' lot, and it's just a fantastic indie platformer made by the wonderful folks of Colorgrave, and let me tell you all, you're in for a good treat today. Before I have my commentators introduce themselves, I just want to thank you for contributing to the Belle versus Bonnie bid war. And today we're going to be doing the Belle mode. So this is essentially the main mode that you would normally be experiencing by way of starting out this game for the first time. So this is going to be the any percent canonless category. We'll get into what that means in just a bit, but for now, joining me on the comms is my good friend and a fantastic commentator in his own right, as well as the writer of our auto splitter, Iodocore.
Hello, how are you doing? Don't mind my audio, and if I may disappear, I am speed running my way home, as it were, while obeying traffic laws.
The best kind of speed running, but do be careful, yes. And,
oh, don't worry, I could run this with my eyes closed, but that's very dangerous and not obeying traffic laws.
Sounds good to me. Aside from that, we also got the wonderful Metroid Crime with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Metroid Crime, and I'm a huge fan of this game. I run a different category of it. It rules, you should play it.
Absolutely so. Okay, so before we start the run, just a quick couple of options. I do have a timer set, and we also got run toggle on as well. And, yeah. These are basically optional. They're not necessary, but it's a little bit of a quality of life that has been added to the game as it's been getting more and more updates. But with that in mind, time will begin once I select my character. Let's quickly pick a little bit of a color palette, though, and touch some grass today. It's RGLtv. I think it fits the green that we got going on here. So with that in mind, the run will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Good luck.
All right, thank you. Crime, take me away, please.
Sure, so this is Curse Crackers For Whom the Bell Toils. We're gonna start off in Belle's bedroom, taking a nap, waking up, and now we gotta go on a mission. So, the game is split up into several different worlds. This is the first world. We're starting the first cutscene, actually, where Belle was on a date with Clyde, and, basically, Beakston, which is a character in the game, kidnapped Clyde, and now Belle has to go and find him, figure out what's going on. With a lot more shenanigans, trust me.
Quite a bit of shenaniganry indeed.
Yes. So the basic premise is that you have to go save your date across the various worlds of the Damra, meet a host of colorful characters, and stomp on more than a couple inflatable skeletons.
Nice, I got that little trick. Ioto inspired me to do that little extra bounce right up there by setting Chime nicely, which, yep, we got Chime right here. He's our Bell buddy. He's a very special friendo who is friend-shaped in every sense of the word, and is also super-duper useful for not just attacking, but also for being our extra platforming support. If Chime bounces right into me, I can get a little momentum boost, and also just get a little extra bounce height as well, so you're definitely going to see me use Chime a decent bit here and there for potentially a few different all sorts of strats and whatever the heck not. So, anyway,
yeah,
that was the goalpost. I just hit it from afar. And why is that, Ioto?
Because it's a lot faster than making your way all the way over there.
Absolutely so.
So we should probably talk a little bit about the mechanics of the game, yeah?
Absolutely. So, a few ways to attack enemies. We got jumping on them like Mario would, whoops. Oh well. First death early on, nothing to it. It's not a bad omen whatsoever. I'm just joking, obviously, but yeah. We'll talk about the health in a moment, because that is pretty important to just bring up in general, but yeah, no, whoops, oh, thought I could have saved that one.
So if you fall into a pit, you lose all your health automatically. Your health, you have 3 health, as noted in the top left corner. Whenever you get hit by an enemy or an obstacle, you lose 1 health. Alternately, if you fell down Death Pit, you lose your entire health. But if you hit one of the checkpoints, which you'll see at some point, they're these big green balloons, you will gain 1 health back.
It's a fairly lenient system, all things considered, because I believe in an early version they used to have more health, but the game has been sort of slimmed down and made more... What's the best way to put it? It has a better sense of flow now in the way it works. But it's very lenient, and the most important thing is, even if you do die, you don't necessarily lose progress. You lose progress in the level you're going through, and you may occasionally lose an item, which we'll get to later on as we are playing through all the major levels. But if you pick up a key item that you need to get through the game, it might actually be faster for you to die and restart the level than continue onwards, and the game lets you keep those items. We'll have an example of that later on to show you, most likely.
So right there, I just skipped a little bit of a secret thing within the upper right portion of that part of the stage, which is a skip cannon. Every second level within the first 3 worlds of the game, it's a skip cannon that can be found, and by activating it, it's kind of like New Super Mario Bros., where it sends you off to the next world, and then allows you to revisit any of the levels that you haven't technically completed yet. But with the cannonless category by nature, I'm not allowed to use that, so unfortunately, you won't be seeing any of that fun zoomies today, but it's all good. It's all for the name of showing off the actual full main game, and hey, nothing wrong with that. This is actually one of my personal favorite things about Canonless, just the fact that you get to see the game as it is.
Yeah, and the game is super cool. There's so much lore. The universe is huge. There's also related games by the developer that are in the same universe. There's a really rich story here.
Yeah, this game is officially connected to the Prodigal by the same devs, so yes.
I don't remember offhand, what percentage does the Canonless run get you at the end of it?
I want to say...
Because I know 80% gets you around 24?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Okay.
We'll see, but Yeah, I kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot. The thing about
Yeah,
the
I only know
percentage,
cactus. Yeah.
the only percentage, the English is hard right now. I mean, it's kind of noon over here. It was a given. Ah. But percentage, it's not really too important. All it really does is, in terms of collectibles anyway, it dictates progress toward something that I may or may not be getting today, a little something called the Spark Bangle. However, we never fully decided what kind of a run we were going to do exactly, so we'll have to see what I'm feeling like once we complete the first world, because that won't really matter until we get to the second. And the Spark Bangle was something that was added into the game by way of what's called the Chime Circuit, which, whenever there was, like 10 people that took part in this little community event, Colorgrave added an extra item into the world, and it ended up being one of the most broken things possible that I was then like, well dang, if we're gonna implement into any percent, we might as well also have its own category as well.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between the Spark Bangle and Double Jump.
So this is our first boss
item.
of the run. This is Skater, and yes, you're going to be seeing a few on-the-nose names with some of these characters right here. So his shtick was I had to hit him from the back. There was the screen wrap effect going on here, and then I just got to jump on him, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now an adage from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Ah!
Perfect.
Anyway, that was Tedra. She's a Cyclops brat, and we're going to be seeing her maybe a couple times throughout the main story, but trust me, when she decides to reappear later on, it's going to come as a bit of a surprise.
Yes. But this level actually shows up one of the fun parts of each of the world designs. So what happens is, across all the worlds in this game, the first 3 levels have a certain theme. For example, before, this is all the circus kind of level, and we had the sort of above-ground carnival styling going on, right? Levels 4 and 5 of each world always have a shift in tone. It's a new theme, it's a new style in the same sort of original sense, but it's been changed around. So this, we have like a dark, underground carnival kind of style going on. It's a really nice touch that carries over through every world.
Indeed. Now, we talked about how second levels of the first 3 worlds had skip cannons. In the same vein, the first 4 worlds have a midway boss at the 3rd level's end, and then for the 4th level, we have a little fetch quest here for our friend Claire. And so, what I just did right there was I did a little intentional death to essentially get me straight up back to the checkpoint after having collected the essential item that she needed. Claire's fetch quests simply require Belle to find these treasure chests with special ingredients in them so that she can then cook up a concoction that will allow Chime to become super powered and help us progress. In that case, we essentially turned him into the magic balloon from Super Mario World, which I think has made something of a return in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, but don't quote me on that. Otherwise, we have the 5th level of the worlds, and that's where the main boss of the world is going to be located. So that's all basically the standard procedure when it comes to Colorgrave's, or rather Curse Crackers' world maps. So once we get to the end of this stage, we'll be taking on the big guy that'll be guarding the circus's progressional point, if you will. And then the dark cloud that blocks the border to the next world will be Gonzo. Kind of like Drawn to Life when you think about it. In fact, that comparison will admittedly come back in the second world's main boss once we get there, but yeah, for now, we're looking pretty good as far as things go. Oops, except for that.
All those nasty spikes.
Always. Also, that little skull... Whoa, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Sorry about that, folks. I'm experiencing some unexpected lag. What the heck is going on here? Oh, no. Okay.
You might want to stop sharing on Discord, possibly. That might
No,
be...
no, that can't be it. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's never happened before. Oh well, not much I can do about that. I think there was something in the background that suddenly started loading on me, and then it just caused everything to go nuts. So, yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate.
Marathon luck.
Yeah, you can probably say that. I swear, though, that's actually never happened, and that's a little concerning considering I am running every operation on my gaming laptop. This thing's kind of supposed to be powerful. Anyway, we have our main boss of the first world, the circus. This is Riff. Anybody like Guitar Hero or rhythm games or anything like that?
Love rhythm games.
Heck yeah. I'm actually going to give a quick shout out to one of my favorite indie devs, Inti Creates, as they have a Gunvolt rhythm game coming out in February of next year, and I'm so looking forward to it. But, yeah. Colorgrave decided to throw in a little bit of a button bit here, where once the guitar shows up, I gotta match the input that's on the screen, and then jump on Riff. Supposedly, it is possible to clear the fight without jumping on him per se, but this is generally faster to my knowledge. And, yeah, here we go. One last... Oops. Okay, there we go. 3 mistakes, and I do take a little bit of damage, but nothing else to it.
Yes.
Alright. So now we move into the second world. I'm gonna start the first stage, and then I'm gonna make my decision from there, but, I'm honestly feeling like doing the Spark Bangle for y'all. Normally, I wouldn't, but, admittedly, I want to see where we can go with this one, considering that, out of nowhere, freeze issue, and, yeah, I don't know. Might as well go fast to make sure that doesn't happen again.
The Spark Bangle is really cool to show off, so I'm glad we're getting to show everyone it, because the movement really picks up.
I don't feel like the Spark Bangle has actually been shown off on a major run at all. Like, people have been running it, obviously, but nobody's really been showing it off.
That's fair. I've been doing it for a few events at least, so it all depends on, like, what the event teams decide to have me do, but since we've got a little bit of free range here, might as well.
Show it off.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look at my rose count, though. Okay, I'm actually looking pretty good here. So, I'm gonna try and avoid a few right now. Oh! Come on, Chime, really? I love you, buddy, but you didn't have to do that to me.
Did we mention about the roses? About why we're collecting roses? I'm not sure.
Oh,
we did.
yeah, we didn't.
I'm gonna explain that a little bit.
Please do.
So we need to collect 30 roses ultimately to unlock a portal into the astral world, basically, at the end. So there's different places in which the roses are most optimal to grab. There's basically 3 roses in each level, and there's a specific route through that allows us to get the most efficient ones without losing time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for this particular run, the routing is not as important, but in the any percent and any percent, like true any percent and any percent no cactus runs, there's a lot more routing involved because you can dip into a level, grab 1 or 2 roses, and then leave without actually completing the level, which means that you need to figure out which ones are the fastest ones to grab at any given level.
And now that we've gotten our Spark Bangle, we can really zoom. So this item right here presents 2 things that you can do. The first is a double jump, which in the no Spark Bangle run for some of the categories, particularly any percent, we actually have another item that does do the same deal. But the big advantage of the Spark Bangle is that by activating the item button, Bell can do essentially a combined slide, kick, and long jump, as I like to call it. Long jump being when I press the jump button after initiating a slide on the ground. Here, I'll quickly demonstrate, like so. Well, that was probably the worst time to do so, oh well. And sliding, on the other hand, it can damage enemies, but long jumps cannot, so Bell is still pretty vulnerable as can be. That right there was a bounce extension, by the way, or as what I like to call it. You could also say it's a super jump. Wait, that's not a rose, right? No, that was down there. super jumps or bounce extensions, they work where if you are on the ground, the moment that you hit a little bounce pad and press the jump button at the same time, or if you're using a double jump and you're hitting something in midair, you, based on the timing, can make Bell go super vertically high, and it's a really nice trick for just getting past the vertical sections, especially if you've mastered the horizontal stuff at this point. Oh, great. My least favorite mini-boss.
Speaking of a boss with bounce extension.
Oh, yeah. So this is Tiki. This is the first instance of a boss that does not go down in 3 hits. A little more like 4 here. And he's dangerous because if I... Oh, at the last opportunity as well. Unfortunate. So, yeah, you just saw me get flung into the spiked ceiling. Oh, yeah, just like that again. Thank you! But, yeah, that's what those little extra platforms in the level are there for. Just to get you further over him, but, like, I'm obviously trying to use my double jump just to take no chances. But once you hit him enough times, he eventually goes down like that. Oh, yeah, did we mention the skeleton enemies were inflatable?
I did mention that at the very start, but they are all inflatable enemies.
Hey, at least I remembered to ask this time. Sometimes I have a habit of actually saying things my comms have already said in the middle of a run, and then I look back at them and I'm like, Steve, you're a dork. What the heck did you do that for?
Listen, you're just super excited about your game.
It's a super fun game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll accept that. I will accept this. Alright, so now we're moving into our next fetch quest for Claire. I do believe it could very well be possible to skip this with the Spark Bangle, but I'm not going to really take any chances. I'm pretty sure it's kind of virtually impossible, because Colorgrave was generally good about just making sure when to keep the ingredient portions in mind and all that jazz, but let me tell you, it is possible to get these and use them as standalone items on your own once you've completed a side quest that gives Claire her own little bakery place, and yeah, it's really neat. It's not really too important per se, but it will be if you are trying to get 100% collection, and yeah, again, that's kind of what the Spark Bangle requires, a 100% file percentage rate, and once you've done that, you can then use it with any file, regardless of whether it's 100%ed or not. So that's one of the nicest things about this game, and that also applies to another thing we would have been using if this was an any percent run, the Cactus Room, which, Ioto, do you want to explain that one?
Yeah, so the Cactus Room is a special location that only opens up. You can try visiting it, but you can't enter it. But it only becomes available for use after you have completed the game once. Inside, there are a number of code blocks, which people in the community have gone through and filtered through every combination to figure out what they do. And you can enter codes that have various effects, such as unlocking all levels, unlocking power-ups for you to use, giving yourself infinite coins, that sort of thing. It's really, really helpful if you just want to mess around in a new file with a bunch of stuff, or in the any percent run if you want to go fast and just unlock all the levels and beat the game in under 10 minutes.
Exactamundo. And that's one of the best things about it. Oh, I thought I could dodge that spike ball. Alas. That right there, by the way, was a lore tome. That's one of the many collectibles that this game boasts. This game actually has a short completion time if you're just trying to get through everything without much care, aside from the 30 Ardell Roses requirement for Bell anyway. But in terms of 100%, yeah, that is the longest run category by far. And even though our friend Druid Horse, one of the top Bell runners, in fact, no, the top Bell runner in existence, Druid's been going around trying to shorten down the timing for 100%, and yet you could probably imagine there's still going to be a lot of game to play through it regardless, so props to him, but also, yikes. Well, not yikes, because there's a lot, it's actually really good content. Colorgrave has made this very replayable in doing so, and just super duper wonderful of a time, really.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the completion percent earlier.
Double hit.
Oh! So,
Unfortunate. But when I asked about the completion percent, because I said the normal no cactus any percent run, which is the run I tend to do, only gives you about 24% completion in the game. That is not a quarter of the game that you're finishing. That is like maybe an eighth. There is a lot of content in this game beyond just completing levels.
Yeah.
Like, it is a massive game, absolutely stuffed to the gills with love and attention to detail. You are seeing not even a fraction of the game right now.
Part of the completion also involves some extra levels within places called the Hollows, which can be found in the first 3 worlds as well. You actually saw me enter a secret exit within the 2nd level of the ruins, because it's generally faster to finish the level instead of using the main goal. And, yeah, not really much else to that explanation. Woo, nice little high bounce right there. So, we've entered the swamp right now, and I just want to give a quick shout out to the Shrek franchise. We love ogres in this community. At least I most certainly
yourself. They got too many layers for me to take.
They're like onions, Ioto. Onions! What am I doing anymore?
The last time I had an onion, it made me cry.
Shout out to Shrek 5 whenever that happens. I do believe it's still in the works, so who knows how that's gonna play out. But props to Puss in Boots 2 for finally happening.
Shrek 4?
5. Well, Shrek 4 was Shrek Forever After.
I did not. I'm gonna be real, I have stopped keeping track of the Shrek movies after 2.
I've seen 2, exactly.
I've seen
but
up to
I will
3.
say, the Puss in Boots movie was very, very good. A lot better
Heck
than I was
yeah.
expecting. Yeah.
I just love the animation style that The Last Wish has to offer, too. It's really nice. So, with that, let us now keep on going through this world's levels. And I'm going to remember not to use the cannon here, because that right there, that little overhang platform that I just slid by, that was where it was located. This is otherwise one of the shortest levels within the world. Why can't I kick in there? That's weird. Oh, I know why. Never mind. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So again, that's another example of a secret exit that unlocks the 3rd world's hollow. And now we are here within... Wait. Prime, did you just see me slide under that jump-through platform?
Yeah. Was that a smart fangle thing, or...?
I guess so. That's never happened before. I think I just discovered an unintentional clip. Huh. Well, then. Okay. I didn't think that was going to happen mid-marathon, but hey, some of the best things can be found mid-marathon. Just ask my pal Focusite, who discovered a completely groundbreaking Silver the Hedgehog Sonic 06 strat in the middle of an event run.
It's always nice when that happens.
Oh yes, absolutely. So now we've got a bit of a crossover boss fight. This is the Boss Frog, who's actually a returning face from Prodigal. I didn't know this for the longest time until Ioto told me, but it's a really cool little inclusion once you recognize it. He's also one of the rare instances of a mid-boss not being one of Bonnie's cronies, which is pretty cool. It's also kind of a cycled fight, meaning that if you mess this up, you're going to be here a little bit longer than you want to be. How this big boy works is he's going to belch out those barrels, and then I got to jump on him. So you want to make sure that you don't take too much damage to contact with him or the waves that his jumps cause, and so on and so forth. And, oh, that was a false platform, and that was Tidra again. I guess this was her doing, for her to laugh at our expense. It's probably the last time we're going to be seeing her for a while, by the way. I feel like something's pretty sus with her. I don't know. I just... Sure, I get the feeling like she's more than just a brat. I'm not just saying that because... I'm literally not just saying that because she's a brat, but, like... I think she's pretty sus.
Nah, it's totally legit.
That's fair. Also, mic change. Welcome back, Ioto.
Yes, I'm no longer breaking the rules of the road, and instead breaking the rules of good taste.
Fair enough. Alright. You've noticed, by the way, that there's a new type of block to be found in this level. The first of which being the red hot chili pepper flaming one, and that's what our fetch quest is supposed to allow us to break. So once we get past that, once we get the ingredient, then we'll have the means to destroy it. The other type, though, that's a scythe image, and gosh, I wonder what that could be for. I don't know.
I'm sure it can't be related to anything that might be unlocked after beating the game.
Nah, couldn't possibly be.
No, that's stupid. Why'd you even bring it up? That seems silly.
Because I just went the wrong direction. That was some shenanigans right there. Well then. Oh snap. Actually, give me a moment here. Actually, no, that's the right direction. Huh? Oh, wait a second. Never mind. I was slightly thrown off by I was slightly thrown off by the scythe block. No, what's wrong with me?
It's a big game with a lot of places to go.
Yeah,
this is true.
Absolutely.
No. Yeah. What's your favorite world crime?
Oh goodness. My favorite level, I think, just in general, is 3-5.
Oh, that's a good
I really
choice.
like, yeah. It's one of the levels where the music picks up like it's a very.
Oh
it's a
my!
different... Oh no.
Sorry, continue.
It's 3-5 has a slightly different theme, like all the 5th levels in the world. Like the music's a little different. I really like the flow of that level. It's really fun to speedrun.
Ooh, music glitch. That's a new one too. I'm discovering things left and right with this run. So what just happened there was Chime went into the water in his fireball state, and he's supposed to douse, which he did, but the music that accompanies the fireball state didn't stop, so that's a new one indeed. But otherwise, that was a very tragic death by the goal once I hit it. Yeah, Bell still has to land on the ground in order for the victory theme to be playing, otherwise it doesn't count.
It did actually have a very funny glitch back in the demo version of the game before the game released. Did you ever hear about the scuff percent?
Oh, I did not actually. This is new to me.
Alright, so before the game released, there was a couple of us running the demo, which is basically just the first world, first 5 levels, you know, seeing who can do it fastest. Pretty standard stuff. So, we found a glitch after a while where it turns out if you beat a level but didn't land, like did not land on the ground, so at the end of the first level there's a couple bounce pads, you can just toss Chime into the end goal and then stick around and hop around on the bounce pads without actually ending the level. If you do that, you can exit the level, enter a different level, and it would automatically complete that level.
Fascinating.
Very broken.
And that's what we referred to as scuff percent. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
If only I got to take part in that. Yeah, unfortunately the demo version, which was free on the Steam platform, is sadly no more. But yeah, it's been out for a long while, and we've certainly been able to make great use of it, especially before the final version of the game launched, which is basically what kickstarted the speedrun scene in general. So major thanks to Colorgrave for the generosity of giving one to work with in the first place.
Yeah, I'll also point out that even before the game release, that got patched. So scuff percent only lasted for a very brief period of time.
Oh, well that explains why I couldn't experience it myself. Fair enough. So we've entered the final main world of the game that plays by the normal set of rules. This is the library, and this is where Bonnie's operations are located and all that good jazz, so we're hopefully gonna save Clyde today. I don't know though, it's looking pretty stuffy in here, and I'm feeling like I could easily get lost, so we might just have to find Bonnie first and then worry about the guy later.
Love the level design also in these levels. Like the backgrounds are so cool. All the spray paint on everything.
Yeah, it does give the feeling of like this used to be something, but then somebody took it over and it's just been sort of messing around doing whatever they want in it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Absolutely.
God,
Wait a
gotta
second.
love those super bounces though.
I don't think I was supposed to do that, actually. Yeah, the entrance was that way. There we go.
So a fun thing about that room, there's a small little corridor right above that hallway full of skeletons, which you can throw Chime into, and that'll land directly on the end goal. But with the Spark Bangle, you can just go through it. Just go right through it, no problem.
That was a bit of a scary recovery, but hey, it worked out. Yeah, the good thing about Chime is that he will not fully disappear when you throw him into a pit. He'll eventually bounce as if there was a floor to be had, which is a godsend because it can certainly prevent a rather run-killing mistake otherwise. And yeah, but it all depends on if there are some other, how high the pit is, because you also saw me try to save my skin when it came to another portion of the previous level, and yet because I wasn't quite able to do my double jump, as the power of the Spark Bangle does temporarily diminish when you do your double jump, yeah, there was no saving myself from that, because I could not jump on any of the skull pterodactyl enemies.
Yeah, I have to say though, this level is probably my least favorite level, unless you have double jump, at which point it becomes probably my most favorite level, because there's just so much verticality you can do with the super jump.
Ah, ironic duality, I love it.
Yeah,
actually,
this is
forgot
a
to
fun
ask
level
you your
to go
favorite world, Ioto.
Probably, honestly, it's probably 1-1. Just because I love that one room where you can just like bounce throughout the entire thing while basically never touching the floor.
I respect that. It's also it's very unique actually too, because you've noticed that with the 2 hollow exits that we took from Worlds 2 and 3, that was in the 2nd level. But in this case, it was actually in the case of World 1, I had a feeling that was going to happen. In the case of World 1, that's the only time it appears in the 1st level, so it's really nice. It makes it kind of stand out from the trend.
It's also designed with a lot of the stuff for exploration later on, where it gives you options for using the various chime treats to find secrets hidden throughout. Oh, and this boss.
This is Artis. The name of the game is Pong. The first person to 3 points is the winner, but if he manages to score 3 points on us, the instant-death wall is going to close in on Bell that we just might as well let him win. And that was actually a pretty good pattern. The first 2 throws were neutral. He can decide whether to throw it in the middle, from up, or from down, and it's much preferred if he throws in the middle, because the bounce that the ball does next will always go in a certain way that as long as there's no blocks obstructing it, it will automatically enter his goal. And you also see me do that little setup with Chime to assure that that'll keep happening no matter what. Alright, one final fetch quest, and I have my 30 roses now, so no more need to collect those, and at this rate, we're probably hearing some of the most rockin' music this game has to offer, if I dare say so.
Yeah, the
besides
soundtrack
the final theme.
Yeah. The music in this game is great, by the way. I mean, I'm sure y'all have been listening to it, but, like, it is excellent.
Yeah, the music... Color Brave does fantastic work with their music. In Prodigal, the music was also absolutely stellar. It was very... For the most part, it was a very Game Boy Color, like, aesthetic theme, but, like, when it needed to, it amped it up. And this game is no exception. It just... When it needs to go, it goes.
There we go. That's a bit more like it. We should probably talk a little bit about the differences, though, between Belle and Bonnie, because the 2 of the characters have some pretty notable differences between their respective gameplays. Particularly, Bonnie herself. One of the things that could have happened in this run today is that if you all had voted for her and she managed to win, you actually would have saved me the trouble of having to collect any Ardell roses, because in her gameplay, we don't have to do that at all, which is pretty convenient when you think about it. She's also got a nice little super mode that can cheese a couple of bosses coming up in the last world, but wait, last world? No, this should be the last world, because we're actually going to confront Bonnie right now. What am I saying?
Well, no. First, we had to fight Beakton, who's actually incredibly difficult. His first phase involves you trying to dodge these projectiles as he stands invulnerable in the background, and he's dead. Anyway,
You're supposed
Bonnie's
to hit him
coming
in
up.
the spike ceiling 3 times, but we discovered that you can just quickly kill him within the floor, because when he normally dies after the 3rd hit, that little animation that plays out, yeah, it just happens. But Bonnie here, she can be a bit of a scripted fight unless you lose tempo. It's a bit of a 50-50 shot. I mean, it's very easy to learn, but even then, even a professional runner like myself can mess it up from time to time. It's all about whether or not she decides to do a rather nasty action, like she tried to jump at the end of the last hit. But, yeah. So we beat her.
That fight will also change if you die once. It's a little bit different to time it, because there's no cutscene to skip the second time.
Anyway, Bonnie got kidnapped by Tedra, and now we're on the moon.
We also
question
met
it.
her Harpy compatriot Lear earlier, who was at the Guardian within Stage 5's Ruins boss, or Guardian boss, rather. Oh, by the way, that was the boss that I was supposed to make one more Drawn to Life comparison, because the Guardian is basically like a Donkey Kong Tiki Tonga fight, but mixed with that Drawn to Life's World 2 boss, and I appreciate that. I liked Drawn to Life quite a bit. It was a fun game.
And now we get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Who likes magical hats?
I think I'd rather be summoning Pot of Greed, and I'll draw 3 cards from my deck. Wait, that's what it does, right?
Wait a second, that doesn't seem right.
Anyway. Yeah,
so Tedra is a master of illusions. She has the ability to summon the magical... They're not even hats, they're like Chinese takeout boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
She summons clones of herself that will shoot out projectiles, and she summons these spike balls that will also do damage to you. And of course, you can, as you're noticing here, Steve is ignoring the damage by finding the one that's off-colored, which tells you it's the illusion and not going to damage you.
Now, the amount of times she can shuffle the boxes is RNG. In the first hit, you actually saw me get the best possible one, where it was just a single shuffle, and yeah, there's not really much of a way to manipulate it, but I will say that she will continue to attack her when she summons those shadowy clones of herself until you bust all of them, so be mindful of that.
And now we get... So Tedra's level is an odd one for us as runners. Oh, this part's fun.
Yeah!
Okay, so he got the little zip. That is a strange glitch. The best we can figure is that when Belle hits a block with her head that is a disappearing block like that, she gets pushed out to the side and up to the left, which means that it only works specifically in that one spot in the entire game. If you try to do that with any other disappearing blocks, it will not work.
Yeah, Minbron, one of the Color Grave members, told me this is basically the work of the nudge command from Unity Engine, which, yes, this game was actually made in Unity, surprise, surprise. I actually was quite indeed surprised, because I didn't think that was quite possible. I always imagined Unity was more of a 3D game-making engine, but nah, I've learned a few tips of the trade ever since then, and it's pretty neat. What's not so neat is the Lear fight. As a boss, she boasts the most health that a normal boss, outside of the final boss, has. 20 hits in total, and you can only hit her with Chime, and her fight is completely reactionary, but that was not too bad otherwise. I almost died to that tackle, but yeah.
It's a great
Yeah,
fight.
the main thing you have to keep in mind with that fight is it is really, really dependent on how often she does that tackle, and she can just chain that thing constantly if she really wants to.
All I wanna do is see you two into a giant woman.
Giant woman.
That was Blind Gaze right there. She's what's known as a scale, or a demigod within the universe of Curse Crackers. And believe me, that's not the only time you get to see someone as big as her. There's another one within the game that you meet upon finishing a certain group of collectibles called the Oathbind Scales, so I implore you to give that a shot too, folks. There's, again, just so much that this game has to offer. It's super duper neat and very rewarding in some cases. For instance, there was a side quest that I had no idea would lead me to a boss fight, but I was pleasantly pleasantly surprised at the notion of it all when I found out for myself.
All right, so as this is... Oh, unfortunate. So as this is the third world or the third level in this world, we are going to be hitting a boss fight in just a second.
Or we would. I think you forget. It's
Well,
space. The only thing that you can do here is scream, but no one will hear you.
Especially if you keep running into that ghost.
There we go.
Get out of here, Space Ghost.
He had it coming.
All right, so here we go. Boss time.
If there
It's
were
Tetra
any...
and Lear together. And no, my god, they become Liadra, and now Chime's gone. Surprise, there's no boss
Chime.
fight. The boss fight is that you lost Chime.
Could you?
It's a horrible surprise.
Very horrible surprise. Now, the good news in running the Spark Bangle is I still have my double jump, but now I have to make use without Chime, and that still removes a little bit of verticality within it. But luckily, we've got Zeal from the temple here, and all my homies love Zeal, so shout out to Zeal. He's a bro.
He is a bro. He gives you those ups.
But yeah, you were going to say Ioto?
Oh yeah, I was going to say that the nice thing that, if you think about it, when you're looking at these levels, is that the levels are designed in such a way that with the previous level, it was all very focused around platforming with Chime. You would not be able to do that level without Chime unless you're the Spark Bangle. But this level is all designed around showing you oh yeah, no, you needed Chime. This is rough without Chime. Especially in that room where we grab the key, because that is a room we usually skip. So
yeah.
In the town, we bought that key to get the Spark Bangle, right?
Yeah, Gravenfell had the key from Eleanor's shop.
Yeah, in normal runs, we grab the key and then we hold it until this level so we don't have to get the key below, because it's enough of a pain to get that key that it's just a bigger time saver to keep the one from the previous level. Anyway, now we are up at Liadra and we found Bonnie and we're working together. She's given us the scythe and we're going after Liadra.
So let's finish this. Where you see this space platform ain't big enough for the two of us.
I mean, it really is. She's floating around. You're fine.
I guess. I don't know. I want it to sound. I want it to sound like something Tim Curry would say.
Space. So let's talk about the mechanics going on here. You'll notice that there's a couple green orbs popping out of Liadra as we go. Those are actually healing orbs, and you may be wondering why Steve isn't bothering to pick those up since he's got 1 health. Well, the scythe actually does more damage. Oh, time's coming up in a second.
GG.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You can finish. Feel free to finish what you were describing, though, Ioto.
Yeah, well, you're just skipping through the cutscene. So, the scythe actually does more damage, or rather, hits more frequently the lower health you have. So it's a very careful balancing act of having 2 or 1 hits on you while you're doing more damage, but you can just stay at full health if you want to as well. You may be saying, hey, how can you die with a boss like that? It's possible.
And now for the best part of the story. Shout out to Big Chime.
Yeah, Big Chime. Woo.
He's a hungry boy.
Bell guy go big, then go flat.
And that's the game. You've seen the main story, but not all the story.
This is correct.
Bell and Bonnie have reunited. They're friendly. Lear and Tedra have been sent back off to get their punishment into another dimension, so they won't be bothering anyone anymore. But everyone's happy. All the storylines have been tied up. Everything is completed. GG.
That said, that Ren individual certainly seemed like a very sus woman. She was like a Gorgon or something like that. Did a Medusa survive during my Castlevania hunting days, or did I don't know. I'm not going to think about it much.
She's more like part tornado if you've played Prodigal.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, she is a Prodigal character. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's a Prodigal character.
Wait a second. I think we forgot Clyde.
Did we, though? Did we?
It's okay, we have
That's
Bonnie
true.
now. It's fine. Don't worry
We
about
have Bonnie.
Upgrade.
You can actually save Clyde in the game if you revisit Bonnie's level, because those 2 doors that were closed are now open. But, experience that for yourself. You'll see why we laugh at that. Alright, folks, well, that's Curse Crackers For Whom the Bell Toils. That's any percent cannonless Bell Mode with the Spark Bangle, and I want to give a couple of shoutouts before we head off. First and foremost, the Colorgrave server, where if you would like to learn the speedrun yourself, then feel free to join it. We got a link to it on the leaderboard for both Prodigal and Curse Crackers. It's also just a wonderful community that the devs themselves created for just general stuff involving their latest projects, their topics about their games and stuff like that, and just big shout out to all the Colorgrave runners. Every single one of y'all are just some wonderful people I've had the pleasure of interacting with. And I'm actually working on a little bit of a personal project. I'm working on Curse Crackers Bingo, so if anybody would like to potentially give me a few ideas or just help me test that out, well, maybe go ahead and check out the server. I got a little thread going for that. Otherwise, thank you so much to RGLtv for having me back for Feed the Kids. Again, very much appreciative of that, and yeah, we're doing great things for a great cause to give those kids food at the end of the day. So, folks, we did a great job reaching $1,000, but we got to keep going because there's still a bit of event left within today. Ioto, Crime, where can these wonderful people find you before we let you go?
Alright, well, I can go first. You can find me on literally every social media website and whatnot at Ioto Corp. You got Twitter or X or Zitter or whatever you want to call it now. You got Threads, you got Blue Sky, you've got YouTube, you got Mastodon, you got not Facebook actually. But like all of them, they're all there. Go find it out. But most importantly, go find yourself a copy of this game, which is actually currently on sale as part of the Steam Fall Sale.
True. Holy jeez. Thank you for reminding me. And Crime?
I'm Metroid Crime. You can find me at twitch.tv/MetroidCrime. I play this game, a much shorter category that's around like 12-ish minutes. So if you are interested, I'm always willing to help you learn the game. I'm also in the Colorgrave Discord as well.
Actually, shout out to Crime, who was unexpectedly brought on last night for GDQ's Canadian Takeover Hotfix.
Oh yes,
Congrats on that.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I got to show this off on GDQ yesterday, which was such an amazing experience.
Ioto also got to do the same thing for Express Lane for the hotfix, so hey, maybe it'll be my turn soon.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe maybe we'll do it at the big show at some point.
Yeah.
And with that, if you want to follow me, I'm TempestMask1000 here on Twitch, YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter at TempestSteve or Blue Sky with TempestMask. Thanks again, friends, and until we next meet, have yourselves a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. And ciao, amici!